right.
Hey.
And we're live. Again. We're back.
Did we ever really go anywhere?
No, we never go anywhere. We're always here. We're 24/7 podcasting. We're always podcasting. It's just you don't hear everything. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just always podcasting inside my head is what it is. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah, it could be.
I've often said that I've had this one long run-on sentence interview that's been going on in my head since I was a teenager that I've never had the capacity to get it out. And so I think that's why I gravitated to podcasting so much. It's like, I can say all the stuff that's in my head. Okay, I can get it out now.
So I'm Big Dave.
And I'm Alan Smith. And welcome to our mental breakdown. And maybe just welcome to my mental breakdown. I don't know. So,
yeah.
Again, this is the Project X podcast. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time,
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and we really are always like this. So I'm not even going to lie. Anyway,
it's actually worse when we turn the microphones off.
The stuff that gets said when the mics are not on. So I still think that we should just have like a complete uncensored, like top tier of if you pay enough, you can hear this. So it's Dave's a wimp.
No, Dave understands that what goes on the internet is
there forever.
Always there.
I always say it. I always like that line from The Social Network. It says the internet is written in pen, not pencil. Mm-hmm. It's like, yep, that is true. It's there. It's always there. It's on a server somewhere.
Yep.
It's somewhere, and it can be found.
Yep.
And whether you deleted it or not, it's somewhere. So
yeah, which is why I'm glad
those ones and zeros do not go away.
Glad I grew up in the 70s and 80s because there's no proof of my childhood.
Goodness. Yeah.
You poor millennials.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures out there from some stuff. Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
Again, we could get into some some stories that wouldn't be family
friendly. So what are we talking about? What was the topic that you picked again? Can we move along, please?
Today's episode. I always say today, but we generally do these at night, So it's like our current episode that you are listening to is going to be about movies that disappointed. And I say that as when I brought this again. This is one of them that I came up with when I brought this today. It was
let's just call it like it is. You come up with most of them.
I come up with a lot. I have all this stuff in my head that's just dying to get out. So it's
I'm just here for you to bounce stuff off of and to, I guess, abuse from time to time.
It's the way it is. It's not easy being my friend. Okay, I will admit that.
I should know.
25 years. You ought to know by now. You know, you keep coming back for more. Apparently, so
somebody's got to keep you in check.
Anyway, movies that disappointed. I don't necessarily want to just sit down. I mean, there are obvious. The Phantom Menace, or whatever, where
okay,
it's,
you started there. So
but I'm just saying, like, there are obvious movies that people generally agree are bad movies, and I'm like, I try to stay away from those for the most part. I kind of went with movies that like were really built up before I saw them, and then I saw it, and I was like, but it wasn't even so much that.
You know what? You started there. You started at The Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
you started right there with Star Wars. So
I'm sure you're going right into Star Wars. So
I'm going to go. Sorry, this mic thing's driving me crazy.
Here we go.
Since you started there, I love.
And Dave's going to immediately break the rules on this thing. So it's.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I love Empire.
Okay.
I'm okay with Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I loathe the prequels.
Okay.
I am not a particularly big fan of.
I know you didn't like The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens was okay. The next one, what was
Last
that?
Jedi.
Last Jedi was a piece of garbage. But the last one I actually kind of enjoyed.
You like The Rise of Skywalker?
And I'm okay with the way they ended it.
Okay.
I'm not totally happy, but I'm okay with. But
so, which one of those disappointed you the most? Like you were just so anticipating it, and then you were just like, Oh, that was really
Force
disappointing.
Awakens.
Really,
I was so angry.
I really liked the Force
I was
Awakens.
so angry when. Oh, by the way, here you go. Spoiler alert. In case you haven't seen The Force Awakens,
They came out 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was.
when they killed Han Solo, I almost got up and walked out of the theater. I was so excited for new Star Wars, and then right in the middle of it, you kill my favorite character of all times in the Star Wars universe. Screw you. No, big, huge, giant disappointment.
Looking at my list here, and probably looking, I haven't seen yours, but just judging from the very first one, there's going to be a lot of sequels on these lists. I didn't want to do that to begin with, but then I found myself going like, no, that's usually where my letdown came, was with sequels.
That's usually where they end up.
Since you started with Star Wars, I'll just go ahead and put mine out there.
Yeah.
I have Return of the Jedi on mine.
Yeah.
And I put that on there because, like I said, we can all agree that, well, people of our age...
To quote Clerks, it's just a bunch of Muppets.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, people of our age can generally agree that the prequels are not good.
No.
You know, and we're kind of mixed on the third trilogy, or whatever you want to call it, you know.
Yeah.
I remember being, because, you know, I was 9 years old. The Empire Strikes Back. We got new Star Wars coming out. This is going to be, you know, this is going to be great. I can't wait because the first two were so good, and we're going to find out all this stuff and blah 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 blah. And the Scholastic, you know, books that you would get at school.
Oh yeah, the book fairs.
I actually got a hold of the storybook, like the Scholastic storybook for Return of the Jedi before the movie came out. Like, they actually let that out beforehand. Yeah.
That's unlike Lucas.
That was my first foray into spoilers, for one thing, of like knowing what I was going to go see. But also I remember like being really like, what just happened? Like the whole, especially with the whole like Luke and Leia being brother and sister.
Yeah.
Huh? You know, it was like, what? You know? And so I was like, all right, you know, well, I'm still excited to see the movie. And I remember like being in the theater and just kind of being disappointed with the whole thing. Yeah. Not because I had already read, you know, the stuff, but just kind of being like, this doesn't feel right. This feels like something completely different than what I was used to with those first two movies.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, that, you know, even with the disappointment that I experienced at 9 years old watching that movie, it's one of those things. I still liked it because it was Star Wars, you know.
Oh yeah.
But there was this sense of, this one's lesser.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on and I've gone back and revisited those movies, I'm like, no, this one is really lesser. Like this is not anywhere near the caliber of the first two whatsoever. And so I'm just kind of like, all right, that was my first experience with disappointment. You know, first experience was with spoiler. Yeah. First experience with disappointment of really anticipating a movie and then it not living up to what I was hoping for.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Rogue One. Mm-hmm. Really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Solo.
Yeah, I
enjoyed it. A lot of people bagged on Solo. But
I think that was more because of all the behind the scenes crap that went on with that. You know, there was so much talk about, you know, they fired the, you know, Lord Miller, and then they brought in.
Well, thank goodness that they brought in Opie.
Yeah, and then they brought in Ron Howard to kind of just manage what was left, you know, and so I don't know. I
thought it was a great movie. It at its core, it's a heist movie.
Yes,
and
I'm all for heist movies. You know, that's
it's a purely enjoyable movie, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a look back into the history. Mm-hmm. So
okay, now that we got Star Wars out of the way, it always goes back to Star Wars eventually.
Always. So go ahead.
Oh, so you want me to go into that? Okay. You know what? I'm just going to go with my sequels first, and then I'll get into a couple of
go ahead,
like first chapters in something that I was really like, you Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way because this is newer. It Chapter 2.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I love that first one. First one is so good. I know I gave you the movie because you had not seen it, and you.
I saw the
it.
first one.
Uh-huh.
I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it yet.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
It is. If the first one wasn't so good, I think this one would have been fine, or it would have been better. But as it stands, it's just kind of fine.
Yeah,
It's like
that's disappointing.
There are some standout moments in it for me, but by and large, I found it kind of disappointing. I found it very disappointing, actually. I was expecting more coming off of that first one.
Yeah.
So, still worth watching. You may find it, better than.
I may have to watch it this weekend.
So but it wasn't a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. It just, again, it was lesser than, So, okay, that's mine.
Okay,
what do you got?
Since I broke the rules starting right out of the bat, I'm going to go ahead and get all the rule breaking out of the way.
Of course you are.
So that way I can actually deal on individual movies.
Right.
The one that I'm going to break on is I'm very disappointed in DC movie stuff, specifically Batman versus Superman, Justice League, and Green Lantern.
Okay.
You know what a huge Batman fan I am.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman versus Superman, they tried to rip out of the end of The Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller.
Right.
And they did probably the worst job possible of telling that story.
Yes, I agree.
Especially since they tried to have the epic battle where they try to kill each other, and one-armed Green Arrow doesn't show up to help, take out Superman.
That was probably never going to happen for a lot of reasons. So.
Justice League.
I haven't even seen it. So.
I really enjoy Aquaman.
Okay.
I really enjoy Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was a great movie.
I am super looking forward to the Flash movie.
Okay.
Because I think that guy is going to be amazing in that character. I still have a problem with the Batman, the Superman in those movies. I think the acting's just garbage.
Fair enough.
And Green Lantern, even Ryan Reynolds bags on Green Lantern.
Yeah, and the thing with Green Lantern is that I went in with no expectations because I was never a big Green Lantern. I went basically because I like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, it is what it is because I don't have any kind of history with this character.
Well, I did a little bit because I used to read a little Green Lantern. Because I was growing up, I admit I was more of a DC than a Marvel. I've
always been more of a Marvel. So
I came to Marvel late.
I've always been I've been more of a Marvelist. I've always been a Marvel zombie. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. Batman is the only DC property that I have read on even a semi-regular basis over the years. I got into Superman a little bit at one point.
No one likes the big blue Boy Scout.
But it was just like, I can't do this. And I'll be honest, I got into it with the whole, after the death of Superman, when they were doing the reign of the Superman, which I really did enjoy that, with them bringing in the 4 different, blah, 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 until they actually brought Superman back, and I was like, oh, this is crap.
Yeah.
And then it was just terrible after that, and I got out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So going into any of these DC movies, I've just kind of been like, I'm along for the ride to see what happens, Yeah. I have, from the minute that I finished watching, or from the minute of watching Batman v Superman, I said that the best parts of that movie is when Wonder Woman's in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
really,
you're
truly.
absolutely correct.
And that was kind of what. All right, well, I'll go see Wonder Woman because I've never had any huge love for that character. But I was like, no, I really liked her. I thought she was great in her part in that movie. And then I saw Wonder Woman. I was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
So, and I'm looking forward to 1984. So that's.
And then Jason Momoa made the most uncool character in DC Universe.
See, I haven't seen that
one of the coolest.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I like Momoa, so I'm sure I would probably enjoy the movie. But again, it's Aquaman.
Dude, I was the same way. And then I watched Aquaman, and now I'm going to go buy it.
Okay.
I
Fair
really enjoyed Aquaman.
Okay. So
So-
all the DCEU,
I like
DCU.
I like the way DC is doing the TV thing. I am really not
I've heard
happy
good
with
stuff about that.
I've really not had a lot of faith in the DC movie stuff until Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And I'm actually looking really now because they just did Crisis of Infinite Earths.
on the television.
On the
I've
television
heard,
stuff. And they actually brought the Flash movie character into the TV
wow.
show for a cameo where Flash from Earth 1 is talking to Flash from Earth 1 in a different time period or something.
Didn't they bring Brandon Routh in as Superman?
Yeah.
That's
they
what
they brought
yeah.
they brought in 3 different Supermen.
Oh, that's cool.
They brought in the one from Smallville.
Oh yeah.
They brought in the one from the movie. They brought in the one from the new
Henry Cavill.
No. The Superman Returns.
Oh, Ralph. Brandon Routh.
Yeah.
Did they bring in Dean Cain? That would be awesome if
Yeah.
they did. They really as Superman. Anyway,
I could be wrong about that. I could
but
be wrong.
I just remember seeing Brandon Routh was going to be playing Superman
Yeah.
again. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Well,
they're
there
doing
was
it,
there were so many people complaining about the fact that they weren't using the same characters from the TV show
Right,
in the movies.
right.
Well, they rectified that with the different universe.
DC's got their own thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, fine. You know, just,
I was actually really happy
stay
that
out of it as
they
much as
brought
possible.
the movie Flash into the TV show Flash and actually had them talking to each other. That was
That's
like
cool.
okay, yeah.
Well, that's
now,
with DC and the multiverse, you can do that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. It's not that big a deal.
that
So,
was a
anyway.
lot of fun. So
All right.
I'm really looking forward to the Flash movie if they'll ever put it out.
Okay, my next one. I've got 2 of them from the same franchise.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one was X3: The Last Stand, because I went into that movie because, again, coming off those first, the first X-Men movie is
Campy.
it's good. I mean, it's one of those things you have to remember. That was what really kick-started all this superhero.
Oh, yeah, the
20 years
X-Men
now.
stuff.
That was when that was like, oh wow, they did this right, quote unquote right. You
Yeah.
know, it was like, oh no, this is a little more believable than what we've been used to, you know, and this and
Yeah.
that. Actually, I guess I should say the thing that really kicked it all off was Blade. That was kind of the first, like, hey, this movie, oh, look, they're taking it seriously. They're
love
trying
Blade.
to, you know. But X-Men was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow. And then after that, it was just like, okay, what else can we do?
Yeah.
And then the X2, you know, X United
Yeah.
came out, and it was really great. Like,
Yeah.
that's a really great movie. And so, again, anticipation for 3, and they're like, oh, well, they're going to get into the Dark Phoenix saga, and they're going to, you know, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And that movie is such a train wreck
Yep.
of,
Yep.
I was just sitting there going, what's going on here? Why is this happening?
Yep.
This is, no.
And it's all downhill from there.
No. I
all
just,
the way down to I didn't even bother to go see Dark Phoenix.
Well, I didn't see that one either. But the next one that I have on here is X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh.
Because the thing is that they righted the ship with X-Men First Class.
Yes, they did.
Really good.
Good movie.
And then what do they follow it up with? Days of Future Past. Great movie
Yes.
again.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, now we're getting into Apocalypse. Awesome.
No.
Oh man, it
Did they
just
screw that up?
what happened, you know? And I didn't even bother with Dark Phoenix. You know,
No.
I was like, no, I don't need to see this.
I saw the
and-
previews and I was like,
No.
I'm not even going to see that piece
No,
of garbage.
No. So that was they got me twice on a third chapter and
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
In
no.
Apocalypse. It's like, no.
I am interested to see the New Mutants
Yeah.
because there's been talk for a while, and even the way that they've presented the trailers and everything, of it being a horror movie. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
a horror movie in this universe would be wonderful, and
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with kids who are just manifesting their powers, makes perfect sense. So we'll see, you know,
Because
with,
it's going to be chaos when
Yeah.
they start figuring out what's going
right,
on.
but it's one of those things, you know, with the Fox acquisition and everything. You know, it was supposed to come out twice before, and it kept getting pushed, and it's kind of one of those things where you sit back and go, oh, what's going to happen? So I'm not really anticipating that one so much as I'm like, I'm glad that I have the unlimited, so I can go and see this and not have to actually shell out, actual cash for this thing it's already paid for. I
get that.
So, but yeah, the X3 and X-Men Apocalypse, that just no. So
all right,
anyway,
I'm gonna go a little newer.
Okay.
Have you watched The Irishman?
Mm-mm. Again, Scorsese, I'm not going to watch it, more than likely.
Well,
so
I figure Scorsese, and then it's got De Niro, and then it's got Pesci.
And I know,
and they brought back, the whole, the whole,
got the gang back together. So,
yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. So it's them doing older and telling a backstory, and the whole thing is literally. The whole thing is literally a rehashing of Goodfellas, but not as good.
I've heard that.
I really wanted to like it. And you know my affinity for gangster movies.
I know you love the gangster movies.
And so. I really, really wanted to like it, and it was... It just did not hold up to the hype.
It didn't get there.
I watched it and I was like, well, that's a couple hours of my life I'm not getting back at this point.
Right.
Which is, disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I got you.
Irishman, if you like it, good for you.
I'm the same way. You know, it's if you like it, that's awesome. It's not for me. I've never been huge into gangster movies to begin with. I really enjoyed Goodfellas. I have not seen it in a long time. I really enjoyed Casino, quite honestly.
Casino was
it's one of those things but it's kind of one of those things that after a while I'm like,
Don Rickles.
It's kind of the same movie after a while. It's like I don't need to see more of this. Anyway, so The Irishman. Huh? Wow, that's a. Some people really hate you for that.
Well,
that kind of goes into overrated thing, huh?
yeah, very much. It won't be the first time I've been hated. Most people hate me for some reason.
Okay. I was getting ready to say the last of the comic book movies, but it's not. But Spider-Man 3.
Was that
Raimi's the last one with Venom and
Venom and Sandman, and where they tried to bring in every Spider-Man villain in the universe.
That was again, we had two solid movies.
Yeah.
That
and then you get Dark Dancing Peter Parker.
Yeah, I know, and it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, what just happened?
Yeah. Did we really need a dance number?
I know. No, we didn't. And that's the thing, is as well as some other stuff that happens in there. I mean, I haven't even returned to this one. Like, I have not gone back and maybe I gave it. I was like, no,
it's not it's not worth watching.
I know, and I'm just like, no, I'm not going to put myself through that again. No. Of the and I did the whole. Well, maybe it's not as bad as I remember. Trying to justify it after the fact, and all that kind of stuff. But then I haven't watched it all the way through, but I've caught pieces of it on television in the subsequent years, and it's just been like, no. Yeah. The little bits that I've seen of this, I don't need to go back and see this one again.
Now, as much as I like the guy playing Spider-Man now, I really enjoyed the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. I know a lot of people don't like them. I really like the Andrew Garfield.
Let's put it this way: those movies. I didn't hate those movies. I thought the second one. I actually thought the second one was better than the first one.
Yeah, I'll agree.
But they're not my favorite. Let's put it that way. Now I'm really enjoying the Tom. What's his line? The kid at this point, Tom Holland. I'm really enjoying that because he's younger and he looks younger.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing with Andrew Garfield is he was almost 30 when they made those movies, that first movie, and he was in his 30s when he made the second one, and he looks it. He doesn't look like a
high schooler.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have the wonder and this is all new.
Right. But I liked, and that was another thing people talked about, like, oh, it's the emo Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's kind of way Spider-Man would be
Yeah.
now. Like that was another thing. I heard a lot of people when those, that's not my Spider-Man. Well, it's not supposed to be your Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man for a new generation. You know, I don't have a problem with that as long as they do it right, or as long as they do it well, I should say.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched it yet, but I kind of want to see Into the Spider-Verse.
oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I've heard it's so
oh
good,
my
though.
God, it is so good. It's probably the best Spider-Man movie that's been
Really?
made, honestly.
Spider-Pig. Spider-Pig.
All right, yeah, I know you were singing that earlier.
The weirdest thing my brain does.
But yeah, Spider-Man 3 just, again, sitting there opening night and just like, what? Like, I mean, was so hyped for this movie. Was just so looking forward to it. And then
Yeah.
that's it. So what do you got?
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
You know what? I didn't even put that one on my list because, again, there are certain things we've all just kind of said.
Yeah.
No. And I'll be honest, I wasn't hyped for that movie. I had a bad feeling going into it. I was like, I have a feeling this is going to be bad.
I was hyped. I like Indiana Jones. I don't like Indiana Jones as much as I like Han Solo, but I enjoy Indiana Jones. I love the first one. I loved, believe it or not, I actually like Temple of Doom.
I do too.
I think it was a great movie.
I do too. And the people who bag on that movie, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's a good movie.
They were mad at it because it was so dark and it was violent.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, let's be honest. Raiders of the Lost Ark isn't exactly a light movie.
No.
I mean, that.
The Sean Connery,
right?
The Last Crusade.
Yeah, that was good.
Sean Connery taking digs at Indiana Jones the entire time. And then it was like, okay, Crystal Skull. It's Indiana Jones. It can't be a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie.
No, it wasn't anywhere near a great movie. It wasn't anywhere near a good movie.
I'm not going to say it was a bad movie, but it wasn't a great movie.
I never tried to make excuses for that one.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was just I was really
Yeah, go ahead and get your charger plugged in there.
I was
Magic Witch Box is about to die.
I was really not anticipating that movie at all from the very beginning.
Okay.
Because, and I'll tell you why, is because I have not been, that was at a time period where all of a sudden we were seeing sequels to movies that were 20 years old, or close to it, type thing. It's like, that never goes well. I mean, it doesn't. And
I was with him up until the point that he gets into a refrigerator to survive.
And that's near the beginning.
Nuclear
I know.
warhead strike.
I know. And that was near the beginning. And it was just like, oh, no, this is... I'll be honest. I bought that better than I did Shia LaBeouf becoming the king of the monkeys, later. And also, I'll tell you the biggest problem with that movie, and I noticed it immediately.
Yeah.
Was the 3 movies prior to that felt like it was a lived-in world. Like they were shot on location and, because this movie felt like it was shot on a soundstage. Like it did not feel like it was in the world. And obviously it was all shot on a soundstage and green screened and all that kind of stuff. And so it just didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, when he'd pull that fedora off and beat his leg to knock the dust off, I mean, that was dust getting knocked off the fedora.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't CGI dust or whatever, So, yeah.
So, Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I'm going to scratch that one off right there.
All right. The last of my sequels.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be like, what? Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Oh, come on. The scene where he gets birthed out of the rhino.
There are a handful of
that was never meant to be a great movie anyway.
Whatever, but by and large, that movie is just crap. And it was one of those things
Ace
Ventura. I know, but think about that first movie.
It wasn't that great either.
But at least it was fun. and When Nature Calls is not. Like I remember sitting there like, where's the laughs from the first movie, and it wasn't like, it was my favorite movie ever and they ruined, the sequel ruined or anything, but it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, cool, they're bringing this character back. That first one was a surprise.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, stuff, Jim, the guy from the white guy from In Living Color is going to do this movie, and it was like, Pet Detective? What are you talking about? This looks dumb, and I didn't see it until it hit video. Like I didn't go to the theater, and people around me were like, "Oh my god, it's so funny!" It's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. And then whenever it hit home video, I was like, "Oh wow, this is really fun! Like this is a lot of fun. It's stupid, it's goofy, it's okay. I can get behind this." So you fast forward 3 years when the next one comes out, or however long it was, 3 or 4 years, and I'm like, all right, can't wait to go back and revisit this again, and it just fell flat. It wasn't funny. That's what it came down to.
Well, that's a movie that should have never had a sequel.
I agree with that. But it happened, and now here we are. So we live in a post Ace Ventura 2 world now, and we're all hopefully smarter. So, what do you got?
So I forget what movie I had gone to see, but we were sitting there and we were watching the previews, and this preview comes on, and the shots are amazing. Mm-hmm. The CGI is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing, and I'm like, I have got to go see this movie. And it came out. And I bought my tickets, and I went in the theater, and I sat down to watch Sucker Punch, which is exactly what it was, right in the wallet.
I could have told you that.
I have, and what's sad is if it's on TV, I'll sit down and watch it again.
That is sad.
I don't know why.
That is sad, is what that is. I never, Zack Snyder. It's one of those things.
You would think I would have learned my lesson, but then he takes over the DC universe, and
look at what he did there.
I think it's maybe not a problem with the movies. I think it may be I have a problem with a certain director.
It could be. He definitely. Sucker Punch was. It never registered on my radar whatsoever.
Just the shots,
and I had friends who were like, "Oh, can't wait to go see this."
Yeah, I was one of them.
And then they came back and you're like, "Oh, dude, that was terrible."
I mean, they had a great. I forget who the person is, but it was a great cover of them doing "Sweet Dreams," and it wasn't the Eurythmics, and it wasn't Marilyn Manson, and it was somewhere in between where it was still rocking, but it was still somewhat eerie.
Okay, that song's always been eerie. I mean, regardless. Yeah.
So go ahead.
I added one because I was thinking, I was just like, oh yeah, no, there was this one.
Seems to always happen.
Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Man, screw you.
I know.
I love that movie.
No.
I love that movie. I love the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's great. I will give the soundtrack that. And it was one of those things where this was, a pre-Titanic Leonardo DiCaprio, all right, fine. But of course, I loved Claire Danes because of, My So-Called Life, and that kind of stuff. And it's like, all right, cool. And I'm not as much now, but I used to be a pretty big Shakespeare fan. And the girl that I was dating at the time was really big into it, that kind of stuff. And so we went to the theater and sitting there like, okay, cool. And man, almost from the beginning, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? How much longer is this movie?
I loved it.
Now,
I still love that
There
movie.
were some things like, oh, dude, Mercutio.
Yeah.
Which kills me that it's Michael from Lost. And I'm like, no, he was wonderful. I thought that John Leguizamo was pretty good.
I loved that character.
Was he Tybalt? Is that who he was? And so it was one of those things, but I could not get with it. I think if they hadn't have tried to merge the Shakespearean
with the modern,
no,
that's what I loved about it.
See, I did not in the slightest. And I could not. I was like, either make this either make this set when it's supposed to be set, or make it modern. Let's not cross the two here. This is.
I thought the idea was amazing. I thought the cinematography was amazing. The soundtrack, both soundtracks were obviously amazing. I loved that movie.
Yeah.
I think I went to go see it in the theater like 2 or 3 times.
Let's put it this way. Because of this movie, I have learned that anytime I see Baz Luhrmann's name on, Baz Luhrmann's whatever.
Yeah.
And I got roped into going seeing Gatsby because my ex wanted to see it. And I was like, all right, fine. And I just sat there for 2 hours going, is there some way that I can escape this theater?
I enjoyed Gatsby.
No. I can. Baz Luhrmann is all style over substance. And don't even get me started on Moulin Rouge. I didn't have to watch. I have seen bits and pieces of it here and there, and I was just like, no.
No, I did not enjoy that one at all.
Or Australia, or I didn't need to see that
one. I didn't
one
see
either,
that one. No.
But that one I was really disappointed with that movie.
Gatsby I really enjoyed, but the Romeo and Juliet I loved.
Or as we like to, I've heard people affectionately call it Romeo plus Juliet. That's the way it was written out on the.
That's because people are stupid.
Romeo plus Juliet. So, anyway, do you have another one? All right.
Well, as you know, I'm still a reader of books.
Okay.
I enjoy reading books, physical books, not like some download crap on a tablet or a phone or something like that. I want physical paper, hard copy.
Fair enough.
The next 3 are movies that were made from books that I read and really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have one of those. So
generally, the movie is not going to be like the book because to adapt a movie from a book, you have to take creative license, and you kind of have to take it in places where you have to get the point across because the medium is different.
Okay.
These didn't even attempt to do a good job of adapting the book from the film.
There's a difference when you see it on the film where it says adapted from the book or based on the book written by.
Yeah. These felt more like money grabs than actually trying to make a good movie from the book.
Okay.
And I'm going to start it out with the movie that they did off of Stephen King's The Dark Tower.
Okay. I've heard nothing good about this movie, so it's
Idris
Elba.
Yeah. Played Roland, which I was fine with. I have no problem. I like him.
Right. Yeah.
I like him as an actor. I think he's amazing. I had no problem with him playing Roland whatsoever.
Okay.
But there was no character development.
Right.
There were major characters missing. You couldn't even get a good handle on what the actual plot was supposed to be of the movie.
How many books are there in the Dark Tower series?
Many.
Okay. And they wanted to boil that down into like an hour and a half.
No, they tried to boil the first book down into an hour and a half with taking bits and pieces from the other books to
Right. Yeah, that's...
And you got to understand, the Dark Tower series, the Gunslinger series, is Stephen King's magnum opus. This series...
Which doesn't that like pull in from other characters from his other books and stuff?
No, this storyline interweaves with all the other books that he's ever written.
Right.
The house in it is in it.
Okay.
The Stand is in it.
Okay.
I could go on and on.
Right. I knew that through all that he made this huge world out of all.
I could almost do a single podcast episode, well, several podcast episodes just talking about the Dark Tower. But there's people that's already doing that, and doing a better job of it than I could. I don't even remember who made the movie, who the director was, but he should. Stephen King should. He should actually forgive Stanley Kubrick for The Shining, for what this director did to The Dark Tower. Because if he thought Stanley Kubrick messed up The Shining, I can't even imagine what he thought of this guy doing The Dark Tower. Because this was the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen.
Nicolas Arkell, something like I don't know who that is.
He sounds French, and he should go back to France.
He was born in August. Yeah, he's Denmark.
Okay.
He's Danish.
He should go back. Well, somebody should totally Hamlet him.
Trying to see what else he wrote.
Or more appropriately, they should turn him into a Yorick for the travesty of that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset of it because I love the Gunslinger series. And, from the Eyes of the Dragon to Song of all of them. There's
Okay.
If you haven't read it, you really should read. I know you're not a reader.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm more of a audiobook guy these days, that kind of stuff. But I read The Gunslinger years ago, and Stephen King's books for me have always kind of been a make or break thing.
Okay. I can see that.
Some of his stuff I've really gotten into, and some of it I could not get into.
No, I totally understand.
And The Gunslinger I didn't really get into, but I kind of made myself read it. And then I was just like, I don't know about this. So
Usually when somebody comes to me and they're like not sure about it, I usually hand them Eyes of the Dragon.
I've read Eyes of the Dragon. Yeah, I read that back when it came out.
Which is basically Roland and his friends as children.
Okay.
Being trained on becoming gunslingers.
Okay.
That's usually where I go, okay, if you enjoy this, you'll enjoy the rest of them.
Admittedly, Stephen King, I enjoy his short stories a lot more than I do his novels.
The Bachman stuff.
Yeah, well, not just the Bachman, like the Night Shift and, what's some of the other ones? His collections of short stories, which is where you get Children of the Corn and and something. I think Christine Christine
was
it a full?
That was a full novel.
But there's
I read that book before.
There was
I
different
saw the
story
movie.
or different seasons. Where it's where you get Stand by Me and Shawshank Redemption and Apt Pupil.
Yeah,
and then I forget what the other one's called, but they've adapted it a couple of times, but it's been smaller, shorts. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that type of stuff. His short stories, I've kind of been a little more into that. Stand By Me was actually called The Body.
Yeah.
It wasn't Stand By Me. Anyway.
What's your next one?
The Matrix.
Somehow I knew that was going to end up on your list.
And, that was I didn't see it immediately. When it was one of those things that I saw the promos for it and everything. I was like, all right, this is, and I'm not even going with overrated on it. It was just kind of one of those things. I was just disappointed with it because everybody that I knew who had seen it came back talking about how great it was. This might be one of the best movies that's ever been made.
I would not have gone that far. I would have said it's a fun movie.
Yeah, and so it was one of those things that I kind of went into it with that hanging over,
I could see how that would do it.
And really kind of being disappointed because, it has some great camera shots and there's some cool action scenes.
Well, I mean, that was the first time they did that.
The bullet time, and
the
all
bullet
that stuff.
time, yeah.
But it was just kind of, at the end of it, I was just kind of like, And let's put it this way. It disappointed me so much, I have not seen the other two. And honestly, I have not watched The Matrix since I saw it that first time.
I own all three.
Yeah,
the wife and I own all three. We enjoy watching them.
Mm-hmm. So that was just a.
No, I get that.
It was
when you have a bunch of people build something up like that, and then you go see it, and you're like,
yeah, I know, and it wasn't like the people who built it up for me were people that I trusted.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this person said it was really this person said it was really good, and we tend to agree on this type of stuff.
Well, what I'm coming to find through these podcasts is that you and I have completely different tastes
sometimes,
in movies. Yeah.
It happens, Yeah. So what's your next one?
Have you heard of a author by the name of Orson Scott Card?
Yes.
That first book, Ender's Game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they did that. Was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. I have read a lot of the Enders series.
Right. Yeah, I know there's a whole series.
Really enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
And then this movie came out, and I was like, this doesn't even.
I had other friends who were really looking forward to that movie.
Yeah.
And they came away from the same way.
It felt like a money grab.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even do justice to the plot line. And honestly, Orson himself has said there is no good way to adapt his books to a movie because a lot of
the
it.
author says that. It's
Well,
probably a good
Because a
not to
lot of
try,
the story
yeah.
is in Ender's head.
Right.
A lot of it is in Ender's head.
Mm-hmm.
And in the heads of the characters around him. It's a very in the head
Right.
type book.
It's a very mental book.
Yeah,
is what-
and
yeah,
when
it's
when the author goes, no, these aren't going to adapt well,
Right,
it's a money grab.
Yeah, I
and
understand
it
that.
felt like a money grab, and it was extremely disappointing, especially since the actors that were in that.
Mm-hmm. Can I take a stab at what your next one is? Is it Ready Player One?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, because and I actually have no problem with that one because
I haven't read the book, and so I went into it just as all right, let's see, and I just didn't like it. So
see, I really like it. I love that movie.
It had that overlook scene.
Yeah,
I thought I was amazed at that, of how wonderful that looked.
yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was just kind of So,
I
but again, I had no.
I had read the book,
Yeah.
and I really, really enjoyed the book. And I knew it was going to be difficult to try to adapt it to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when the movie came out, I tried to go into it with an open mind. And I was like, I know they're going to have to change stuff because there's
right.
no way. And I really enjoyed the movie.
Okay,
I thought
that's
the
fair
movie
enough.
was
Okay.
great.
All right.
The book is really great. The movie is really great. You can't compare the two of them.
Okay. My next one is Toy Story. The first one.
Really?
Yeah. Again, it looked cool. I'm like, all right, this will be interesting. I did not see it when it was first released. It had been out for a couple of weeks, and I had heard nothing but good about it. And so I went on a Sunday afternoon with me and my girlfriend and another couple.
Yeah.
And we went and caught a matinee, and I fell asleep about halfway into it. And woke up, caught the last 15 minutes of the movie, and I was like, yeah, no.
I enjoyed Toy Story. I'm not gonna lie.
I have not seen any of the
rest
ones
of
after
them.
that because I was like, that just did not. I have really enjoyed other Pixar movies.
Oh yeah.
Really enjoyed other Pixar movies, but that one was just it just fell flat for me right off the bat.
Okay.
And I just so and that's not a.
It's not a dig on the movie. It just didn't interest me.
I don't, and it's one of those things. It didn't make it on my overrated because I just didn't find it. Just didn't appeal to me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But I was looking forward to it because it looked cool.
Yeah.
Like you can remember, this is 1995,
Yeah.
95, 96, whatever it was, and so it's one of those things where it's like, no, this was like really new and innovative, and
Yeah.
it looked like this is gonna be great.
You're
And then it
probably
just-
a Monsters Inc. guy.
I like Monsters U better than Monsters Inc.
Okay.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. That first Monsters Inc. is good, but I enjoyed it the first time that I saw it, and then when I went back to watch it a couple of years later, I didn't like it quite as much.
Yeah.
But whenever Monsters University came out, we took Emmy to go see it, and I was like, no, I love this, man. If the first one had been more like this,
Yeah.
I would have, I think some of it too is the animation had gotten so much better between the two.
I can see
and
that.
it's one of those things with, what's her name? Was it Boo? Is that her name that they called her?
Yeah.
Just that it's that uncanny, like dead eye, like this doesn't even
Oh.
look, I mean, just
The uncanny valley got you.
It's just like, no. It's
okay.
But yeah, that was I like what came after, with Pixar.
Yeah.
I'm really more of an Incredibles fan. I really
Oh,
love that
yeah,
movie.
I can see that.
I've said for years that was the best Fantastic Four movie that's been made. And it is.
That's true.
I mean, it's.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah. So what's your?
So if I say the name Madeline Ellingle,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wrinkle in Time.
Ah, yeah, that came out last year, 2 years ago, something 2
Something
years
like
ago. It was
that.
2 years ago.
I grew up reading Madeline Ellingle.
Everybody
and
I know-
Wrinkle in Time series,
Yeah.
and there's 3 or 4 books in that series, and they were all wonderful, and the things they did to my imagination, and I loved them, and I was so excited for this movie to come out, and the movie was doing okay, and then Oprah shows up.
Right.
You get a wrinkle in time, and you get a wrinkle in time. Everybody gets a wrinkle in time.
But you knew from the preview she was in it. I mean, it's not like, you know.
I know, and I was excited, and I was like, oh, is Oprah?
Oprah is one of those people that she can't show up as anybody other than herself.
I know.
Because she's just so Oprah,
and
you know,
then,
and that's...
And then I don't feel like they did the storyline quite right, and some of the visuals they did, it's not what I had pictured in my head, and that's just me being a book nerd. Okay. I admittedly...
hey...
That's me being a fanboy, I admit it, but
I've still got one on my list.
It did not hold up to what I was hoping it would be. And and that could have been if they had done the first one right.
Right.
There are other books that would have been just as good.
I mean, it bombed hard at the box office, so I doubt that's going to happen.
I love that Wrinkle in Time series.
I say that, you know, because there have been other books like that have bombed hard that still got the sequels.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, wow, I can't believe. Every time they announce a new one of the Chronicles of Narnia books, I'm like, really? How they're still making those movies? Because that first one did pretty well, but everything.
Was okay.
But I'm talking about like box office wise, that first one did pretty well.
Yeah.
But every subsequent one after that is just like bombed harder and harder and harder.
Here's the problem.
And they're still making them. So
here's the problem with the C.S. Lewis and the Witch, the
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, that whole series. The Chronicles of Narnia, is that there's a divide in the fandom of that. Do you read them in the order that they came out, or do you read them in the chronological?
Oh, okay. Chronological order.
Yeah. And honestly, I read them in the order that they came out because they came in a box series. Yeah. That's the way it should have been done. Okay. I feel like, and they could have done. If they had waited, because that was in the early days of CGI, and those movies had to be CGI heavy.
And it was in the wake of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and it was like, so we got to have every studio was trying to get their
Lord of the Rings,
their big epic, and
if they had waited.
It was like, what was the Golden Compass that bombed so hard that like they had like a whole series ready to go, and they're like, no, we're not going anywhere after the rest of these. So, yeah. If
they had waited on Chronicles of Narnia and maybe put a little bit more work into it, I think they would have done better. I really do. And C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were friends.
I know.
And they influenced each other.
Right.
And you can almost see the influences in each other's work, reading the books. And if they had waited on Chronicles, maybe it would have been.
Well, Hollywood can't wait for anything. Well, they've got this thing, so we have to have our version of it.
Hollywood can't even come up with any new ideas.
It's the reason DCU is the problem that it is. It's like,
you mean reboot would?
Well, yeah.
Every movie they're doing is a stinking reboot.
Okay,
give me your last one.
I've got two more.
I'm glad I've got an honorable mention then.
And I know they're both going to come off as hot takes, and I'm not trying to be that way.
Okay.
I'm legit saying these were movies that I went to the theater and saw and was disappointed.
Sure.
And was highly, highly looking forward to them.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start because one's going to be as kind of shocking as the other. And I'm selling this now. I'm not trying to be shocking.
All right, hold on. Okay, hit me with the first one.
Jurassic Park.
I really enjoyed the movie when it came out, but it was a popcorn movie for me.
I read the book.
I haven't read the book.
Okay, I read the book.
Michael Crichton.
I read it, and let's put it this way: the movie had come out, several years prior, a couple of years prior, or whatever.
Yeah.
I read it before I even knew they were making a movie.
Yeah.
Or because it was like, this is a different time. This wasn't the internet. Like, they're making a blah 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 type thing.
Yeah.
It was one of those that I read it because someone else had had suggested it to me. I'm like,
Sure.
okay. Oh, sure. They're making dinosaurs. I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, that sounds like something kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was one of the few books that I picked up and like would fall asleep at night reading. I was just so like engrossed in it, and just oh, this is so good. I can't wait. And this was in the months leading up to the movie. So I legit read this book like 2 months before it came out in theaters.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where I was like, I was so excited. I was so hyped that night. And just because they changed it so much from the book.
Now I want to. Now I kind of want to read the book.
Yeah. And so it's kind of one of those things that like I can watch that first Jurassic Park movie and understand, and it is one of those things that I did get the spectacle of the first time you see one of the dinosaurs on screen, and it looks so good. The problem was that the story was so different than what I had just read.
Yeah.
That
I get that.
And that's where it's the whole, inspired by the book rather than actually like based on the story in the book, type things.
No,
and,
I completely get that.
So it was just kind of there's always kind of been a stain on that movie because of that. So
and years later after the movie's been out and with the TV show Seinfeld, now every time I see that character in that movie, I'm like, no, man!
I know.
No, man!
Sam Jackson's in it. I mean, come on.
Sam Jackson, yeah.
I know. Hold on to your butts.
Yep.
So
give
do you have another? You said you had honorable mention?
I have an honorable mention, but I'm going to let you do your second one since you said it was a hot take.
Tim Burton's Batman.
Okay, I will agree that it has not aged well. But when that movie first came out, I loved that movie.
I wanted to love that movie. I wanted to so badly. So badly.
After having to deal with Burt Ward and...
all of that aside, okay, so it's one of those things that, and the whole Batmania that was around this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, that was real. And I got swept up in it pretty hardcore. All right, and I was, anything that had Batman on it, I was like, magazines, Star Logs, or the official Batman, which I think I've still got one of the official Batman, movie magazines and all. It's got posters in it and all that kind of stuff. And I was so swept up in it, and started like really getting into Batman the comic more than I had previously. Just really anticipating this.
I was
the T-shirts, I had wall hangers, I had like all the stuff.
The uncle that introduced me to all of the music, he was working for a printer. And when the movie came out, he got me the movie.
Okay.
But what he included with the movie is he got me the leather-bound, the complete Frank Miller Batman.
Okay.
And he got me the leather-bound, the complete Joker stories.
Okay.
And...
well, see, and the thing with it is that I remember, again, I did not see it opening weekend. It was a couple of weeks, and going, I'm just so excited. Just so excited to go, finally, because I was 15 when it came out,
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, of course, I had to wait for my mom to go, because my mom was the person I went to the movies with, generally, because she was the one that really introduced me to a lot of movies.
Sure.
But I remember sitting there and watching it and being bored through a big portion of it.
Heresy.
No. That movie is not paced well. Even, and this isn't looking back, like, oh, well, you compare it to, Christopher Nolan stuff or this or that. It's like, no, at the time I was like, man, there's just like these big, long, it's boring in parts because there's not a lot of Batman in it, and it was more of a Joker movie than it was a Batman movie.
Nicholson
kind of stuff.
In that character though.
And it was just like, and I really enjoyed, and it's one of those things that, again, Gotham doesn't feel lived in. It feels like a soundstage. There's never more than like 20 people on the street in Gotham City at any given time. It's just kind of one of those things. And now, as time went on and I saw more Tim Burton stuff, I realized that
that's his style.
That's what he does. He's all style over substance. There's no character development. There's no story. There's no plot development.
I would beg to differ with you.
Very rarely, every once in a while, he stumbles ass backwards into one like Big Fish, which is amazing. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I love Ed Wood. It's a complete work of fiction. Like that. I love the movie itself because it is like that real hokey. You know, I was like, no, it feels like an Ed Wood movie, which is great. But it is a complete work of fiction of his life. You know, but I do love those two movies. And Beetlejuice, because it's Beetlejuice, you know.
Beetlejuice.
But I don't care about any of the rest of his stuff whatsoever.
See,
I don't like Edward Scissorhands. I don't like... I like the music of A Nightmare Before Christmas, but honestly, all he did was produce that. So, but it's just not my thing. Sleepy Hollow was terrible. That movie's terrible.
It was not terrible.
That movie was terrible.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
That movie was terrible. That movie could have easily been on this of just disappointing movies.
I own that movie.
Okay,
I like that movie.
You know, what's
and how
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Don't even get me started on that.
I don't
or
like
the Alice in Wonderland movies. Or
no, I don't like those. I'll admit.
Anything that he's done with Johnny Depp in the last decade, okay? What was the Dark Shadows
well, that was supposed to be campy.
I don't care. It was still terrible. I mean,
that was supposed to be uber campy because they were making fun of the television show.
Sweeney Todd, terrible movie. I mean, just
I enjoyed Sweeney Todd. No. It was fun.
So that is. It was just one of those things that it was like that Return of the Jedi feeling again of this just doesn't. I liked it,
yeah,
but I don't think I liked it enough.
It was not the Joel Schumacher nipple suit.
Yeah, exactly. And those movies are what they are, you know. But it was one of those things that, like, you know, when it came out on home video, of course I bought it and I sat down and started watching, and I was like, this is boring. This is really boring.
I really enjoyed it.
And okay, I mean it's
yeah.
I'm just
saying,
all
subjective.
But it, you know, and it's one of those things that, you know, anytime that somebody wants to get into the that first Batman, that first is the best one of all the Batman movies. Like no. Christopher Nolan's Batman. Those three movies are amazing.
Christopher Nolan's Batmans are heavily influenced
by the Frank Miller stuff. Yeah.
And for me, those three movies are the perfect Batman movies. I
agree.
And they should just probably leave them alone.
I agree. And that was the thing, you know, that everybody talks about, Joel Schumacher ruined, you know, the Batman franchise. It's like, no, I think the Batman franchise was just overdone.
Well,
because you got to think, we have 4 movies in the matter of 8 years.
I'll say this. George Clooney has even come out and apologized for.
Well, you know, the thing is that Schumacher has even gone on record talking about Batman and Robin, and said that it was one of those things that entire movie was dictated by the suits.
Merchandising.
It was absolutely. Well, we need to sell more toys, so we need to get Batman in a bunch of different suits, and we need to have this, and we need to have that, and blah blah blah. Yeah. And it was just one of those things that's over the top. Now, those movies are fun. Well, Batman and Robin is more fun than Batman Forever. Because it's so over the top. If you look at it just as a complete campy over the top, it's like, okay, it's fun, but it's not a good movie whatsoever. But the thing with is that, like I said, we got 8 movies, or we got 4 movies in 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, literally, the first one came out in '89, and then the last one came out in '97. So in 8 years, we got 4 movies. Okay, that's a lot. That's every 2 years, and that's a lot. That's oversaturation. I mean, it really is. And so I think that had a lot more to do with.
I agree.
With that franchise needed to take a break for a while, and it did. It took about an 8 year, because was it 2005 when Batman Begins comes out? So they took about 8 years off, which was good. You know, it was like, okay, fine. We took this time. We were able to cleanse the palate.
Yeah.
And now we can come back to this with fresh eyes. And man, did it come back with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm going to disagree with you on the first Tim Burton Batman.
Okay.
But it's not a movie that I would fight you over like The Godfather.
I didn't even get into The Godfather on this.
Oh, okay? I know.
You know, because
you know I'm going to reach across this table at some point.
And that was a movie that I had heard about for years and years and years about how great this movie was and how blah, blah. And I did not find it to be as great as everyone said that it was. Now, I wasn't disappointed with it so much as I was just like, well, maybe I just need to watch the next one so I get the whole thing. And so I did watch the second one like the next night. I watched them on night, back-to-back nights, and I was just like, no, I'm not getting this one either. And I found myself like really getting distracted by everything else, and I was like, this is not. So
it's just not your thing.
Yeah. So anyway,
but if you badmouth it one more time, I'm gonna reach across this table.
Well, it's not like I came out and said that it was a terrible movie. I just said that I thought it was overrated. That's
okay. Honorable mention.
Okay,
this is a movie that I tried to watch at least once in the theater and 3 on home video. Mm-hmm. And fell asleep before the middle of the movie all 4 times.
Okay.
I had to watch it 5 times to actually see it all the way through.
Okay.
Independence Day.
That movie, I enjoyed it initially. Like, I went to the theater to see it. Enjoy it. I was like, it's the spectacle. It's all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it almost immediately started poking holes in it.
I
walked away from the theater that night going, really? Aliens fly millions and billions of miles across the galaxy and they're Mac compatible? Like that doesn't, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a.
I can almost tell you the point to where I would fall asleep every time. Will Smith would crash land in the desert and he would pull the alien out. Welcome to Earth, punch the alien out, and like within 10 minutes I was asleep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It has some pacing issues. Now, I don't know if you tried watching it recently or not.
No.
Oh, it's bad. I'm not even talking about the mid '90s CG work on it. I'm talking about the way this movie was shot is bad. The plot really falls apart now, and that again goes back to when the new one came out a couple of years ago with an Insurrection or whatever it was called.
I actually only had to watch
Resurgent, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are they making another one of these movies?
I only had to watch it twice to see it all the way through that time.
Because it was one of those things of like, why are they making another one of these? We don't need another one. This is, and it bombed. I mean, it bombed.
Well, that's so Jeff Goldblum could do his thing.
I don't know, but it was just like that's the whole problem that I have with nostalgia, is that people they're making a Space Jam 2 with LeBron James. They've been working on it for a little while now, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have any great, because I guess I was out of the age to really care about that so much. But what I have seen of it, I thought was goofy and
it's supposed
not
to be
very
goofy.
good.
It was.
I didn't think it
Michael
was
Jordan with
the Looney Tunes. I know, and I was like, I just didn't find it appealing back then, and so kids watched it and thought it was great, and so
I'll
now
tell you
we're
what
20
it's
years
about.
later,
it's LeBron is trying to market himself as
the next
greater,
Jordan. I know.
greater than the next Jordan.
That's not going to happen.
I guarantee you that he's somehow financing the thing.
Maybe.
And I'm just going to say it now. When it comes to overrated, LeBron James is overrated.
I agree with that one. That is a. We won't even get into that.
All I'm going to say is Steph Curry.
And I'll tell you this right now.
Steph Curry.
I was no great Jordan fan, when he was in the league, because it was one of those things.
I was a Barkley guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I was an Admiral guy.
Yeah,
I was a Larry Bird guy.
I was a Barkley guy, and I was a Reggie Miller guy. I loved both of those. And the thing is that Jordan stood in the way of them winning championships, both of them winning championships, and it was just like, I don't like.
Well, Bird. Bird doesn't get the credit that he should get.
Well,
Bird was savage.
Oh yeah,
he was savage.
I said he was like the biggest trash talker on the court.
He's the one. He basically invented trash talk on the court. And some of this, dude, if you go back and watch some of the highlight reels of Bird,
I know,
he made people look stupid.
Oh, I know,
and I know. I just went off on it.
Oh, that's fine. No, hey, we had to talk about '90s basketball or something at some points. Because I was really into the NBA back then. I was really into it.
How could you not be? I mean, look at all the
well, yeah, I know. He was,
Malone and
right.
Barkley and the Admiral and
my guy Dennis Rodman,
Pippen,
Kareem Olajuwon, and Clyde Drexler,
Magic Johnson.
He was out by then.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He was out by then also. But you're looking at just all those guys that just. Shaq.
Shaq,
I remember Kobe came in at that point.
I'm a University of Kentucky fan.
Yeah, he played for LSU.
He played for LSU. Yeah. I never missed Kentucky playing for LSU because I enjoyed
Christian Laettner. That was another one. I know. Grant Hill.
Give me a second. I gotta get my composure back. I just almost punched you right in the face. You don't.
Yeah, Christian Laettner is one of those names you bring around Kentucky fans, and they're just like, oh.
That and his little lapdog Bobby,
yeah,
whatever his name was.
You're talking about Bobby. Oh God, he played for Sacramento. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, okay, it's
anyway.
Yeah, so.
You might as well have just reached across the table and slapped me.
Hey, I watched that game live. I was
watching that game live. He shouldn't have even been in the friggin' game. I mean, he purposely turned around, looked our guy right in the face, and stepped right in the middle of his chest and didn't get ejected.
Yeah, well,
No.
It's been 30 years, bud.
No, it has not. I will never forget 1992.
So,
anyway, that's been movies that were a huge disappointment.
We hadn't even gotten into like sports events that were huge disappointments.
I think we pretty much covered the gamut there tonight, haven't we?
So anyway, you can get in touch with us.
With all of these options here.
Uh-huh.
All right, hey guys, we want to thank you for listening and supporting us all this time. Just wanted to let you know we can be found on Apple Podcast at Project X Pod. We're also on Google Play. We're on Stitcher. We're on Tuned In Radio, and hopefully we're going to be getting on some other platforms also. You can also get a hold of us by email at projectxpod@gmail.com. I've also got my own private one at bigdavexpod@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at Project XPod, and there's also at Big Dave Xpod. We're on Facebook at Project X Podcast, and we're on YouTube. We're starting to do some stuff on YouTube at Project X Podcast. So if you like us, please spread the word. Let your friends know. If you can't stand us, tell all your enemies. You can torture them that way. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
All right, that's enough. Let's get on with the show.
All right, bye.
Anyway, so I am Alan Smith.
I'm Big Dave.
We will hopefully see you next time if the podcast continues. So, see ya.
Bye.